This program today is about fiqh of fasting, do's and don'ts. We have been told to learn, study, understand before we practice. So we need to understand the fiqh. Fiqh means understanding, gaining basirat, insight. We need to have deep insight into what we are doing. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli Muslim." Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim, male or female. You have to study, you have to learn the basics of your deen. There are various explanations of the hadith. One of the explanations is that whatever you're about to do, learn it first, then do it. You're keeping roza, fast, learn masail. You're going for hajj, learn the masail of hajj. You're sitting in i'tikaf, learn the masail of i'tikaf. You're going to get married, learn the masail of marriage. Whatever you are about to do, study. You're going to a business, understand whether this business is allowed for me or is not allowed. What are the masail of this? So you have to seek knowledge before you do anything. Now, we keep roza every year, but sometimes we make mistakes and our roza's reward and sawab fades away because of those silly mistakes. So we need to learn. You know, surprisingly, in Blackburn, one day someone knocked on Mufti Shabir Sahab's door and said, "Mufti Sahab, I want to ask one masala." Mufti Sahab said, "Yeah, go on." He came inside and he said, "Does having sexual intercourse in Ramzan during the day break the fast?" And Mufti Sahab said, "Yeah, it breaks the fast." He said, "I've been married for 2 years, I never knew. I thought that you just can't eat and drink, you can have sexual intercourse. I used to have intercourse with my wife during the day for the last 2 years Ramzan." Because he didn't know, and because of that his roza has gone. It's not counted. So you have to learn the masala, bhai. A basic masala hai. But people don't understand and sometimes they make mistakes. So today's program is very important, is to learn the fiqh and masail of fasting. Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam urged people to do this. He said, "Faqihun wahid ashaddu ala shaytan min alfi abid." One faqih, alim, scholar, learned person who has insight into the deen is more burdensome, heavy upon shaitan than 1,000 worshippers. It is easy for shaitan to mislead and misguide 1,000 worshippers, but it is difficult for him to mislead one faqih and one alim. So we have to understand the masail. Today we want to talk about the fiqh of fasting. First, we have to understand the definition of fasting. الصوم عبارة عن ترك الأكل والشرب والجماع من الصبح إلى غروب الشمس بنية التقرب إلى الله تعالى. Fatawa Alamgiriya, page 194, volume 1. Sawm, fasting, means leaving food, drink, sexual pleasures from Subh Sadiq, true dawn, until sunset, with the niyat and intention of gaining qurb and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now remember, people worship other deities by prostrating in front of them, doing sajda to them, by bowing down to them, by standing in front of them, and other means. But nobody worships any deity by staying hungry and thirsty. So Sawm is a special worship. It's a worship. It's a form of ibadat. And you are rewarded for every minute you spend in that worship. This is why probably in one hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bihi." Fasting is for me and I will personally reward for the fast. Meaning other ibadat are done for other deities. But fasting is not done for anyone but me. And number two, other ibadat can be seen. Fast cannot be seen. If someone is sitting here and fasting, the one next to him doesn't know that he is fasting. So fasting is hidden, concealed, and there is sincerity in there. And many people hide their fast, they don't tell anyone. And they try their best not to tell anyone, due to their sincerity. This is why Allah Pak said, "As-sawmu li," fasting is for me personally, and I will reward for it. So, fasting is to stay hungry, thirsty, with the niyat of taqarrub ila Allah, worship, getting closer and closer to Allah, becoming His beloved, and making Him happy, earning His pleasure. This is fasting. There are many benefits in fasting. You know, Allah's pleasure, and maybe dieting, toning the body, and having pity for the poor people around the world. Realizing what it feels to be hungry and thirsty. There are many, many poor people around the world who are always fasting. They get no food, no drink, nothing. They don't have anything to eat. They don't have the time of iftar either. They never get iftar. May Allah have mercy upon our brothers and sisters, men, women and children in Gaza, Palestine, in Sudan, Somalia, in Kashmir, in Uyghur China, wherever they are going through tough times. May Allah have mercy upon them. So when we stay hungry, thirsty, we feel a bit pity for them. This is one of the reasons of Sawm. Among our mashayikh saints is a saint named Bishr Hafi. Once it was winter time and he was sitting in the masjid in Baghdad. He had some warm clothes by his side, blanket, but he was just sitting there and he was shivering. Someone said, "Hazrat, you got that blanket, use it. Why are you shivering?" I said, "No, there are many people in the slums out there who don't have any blanket, who don't have any warm clothes. I don't have money to provide blankets for them. The least I can do is that, keep my blanket on one side and shiver for a little bit so I can understand what they must be going through and how they must be feeling. Maybe that can soften my heart and I can pray for them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." You see, so you need that softening of the heart, get that feeling for others. In Roza, you get that feeling for other people. That's why we have been told to keep Roza. Roza means fasting, to fast. So, this is the definition of fasting. Upon whom is fasting farz, compulsory during the month of Ramadan? Fatawa Alamgiriya states, وَشَرْطُ وُجُوبِهِ الْإِسْلام وَالْعَقْلِ وَالْبُلُوغ فَلَا وُجُوبَ عَلَى كَافِرٍ وَلَا عَلَى مَجْنُونٍ وَلَا عَلَى صَبِيٍّ. The reason, so the condition of siyam, fasting being obligatory, are three. The person has to be a Muslim, believer. There is no fasting on a disbeliever. Number two, he has to be aqalmand, sane. Those who are insane, who have no sound mentality, intellect, there is no fasting on them. And the person has to be baligh, mature. Small children, there is no fasting on them. unless they are reaching the age of bulugh, and you train them and get them into the system like you train them for salah, so you can train them for fasting as well. But small toddlers and infants, there is no fasting on them. When is fasting not allowed? Two conditions, Haiz and Nifas. If a woman is on her menstruation or in her postnatal bleeding, she is not allowed to fast. She has to postpone that for another time. When can a person be excused from fasting at the time? Number 1, Mariz. 2, Musafir. 3, Hamila. 4, Murdi'a. 5, Behosh, unconscious. And 6, extremely weak person. These people can postpone their fasting for a later date. Number 1 is a person who is sick, who's unwell. And maybe sometimes, we are not well. We've got fever, headache, nazla, zukam. We can't think straight. We don't know what we're doing. Our mind is all over the place. Right? So in that condition, Allah says, no problem, get better, 2-3 days. When you get better, then keep your fast. And afterwards, those 2-3 days, make up for them later on. Diabetic person, can he be classed as a Mariz? Diabetes varies. Some people are low diabetic. They do everything. They go to work. Their diabetes does not affect their daily, function. And other people are heavy diabetic. They have to take insulin. They have to eat little bit after every 2 hours. They are very old and elderly. There is no hope of recovery. So every diabetic person will not have a blanket ruling. If you are healthy, you're okay, you're diabetic, but no problem, you can keep rosas, then you have to keep rosas. You can't say, I'm diabetic. Some people say, oh, I'm diabetic. Diabetic is excuse, I'm not keeping rosa. And then they go to work 9 till 5, and they go to the hotel restaurant and have, lavish lunch. They come back home and they order their wife who's fasting. Sao, khana lao, thanda lao, pani lao, sharbat lao. That's not right. This diabetic is that Mariz who's not able to keep that rosa. He's elderly. He's very old. Then for that person, Shariat says, okay, they don't even have to make for later on because there's no hope of recovery. Then they can give fidya. If you have hope of recovery and being able to make up later on, then you can't give fidya. You have to make up for them later on. But if you're not able to make up, then you can give fidya. Fidya masala is something else. Musafir, a person who's traveling. Sometimes when you are traveling, our mind is all over the place, especially long journeys, flights. You should try and keep roza if you can, but if you can't, then you are allowed to let go of the roza and don't fast and make up for a later date. 3, hamila, pregnant woman. Now, sometimes pregnant women are very weak. They can't keep roza. If they do, they fall really weak and it'll harm them or the baby. So in that case, Sharia says, postpone your fast and look after yourself and your baby. Murdiya, breastfeeding woman. If she keeps the fast, then her breasts will dry out. There won't be any milk. So she's allowed to postpone it for another date. However, this is when there is risk of harm to them or the baby. If there is no risk of harm, then they should keep the roza. Especially the winter rozas. They're very short rozas, 10 hours, 11 hours. There's no harm in keeping them. Keep them. Because, making qaza and making up is not easy, it's hard. One lady, one day texted me, okay, I've got my whole Ramzan, 30 rozas piled up, and other rozas from a Ayyam period, about 60, 70 roza, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep them. Can I give fidya? I said, no, you're still young, you're healthy, you can make up for them. You can't give fidya. Make up for them. So, it's better to keep it at that time for Mariz as well, Musafir as well, Hamila as well, Murdi'a as well. And then, Behosh, a person who is unconscious. He fell, he fainted, a day, 2 days, 3 days. He doesn't have to keep them. When he gets around, he gets better, then he can make up for them later on. And then a person who's extremely weak. But even then, if that weak person keeps roza fast, he will get sawab. You know, my nanny, my grandma, was 90 years old. She fell and she broke her hip, and there was operation. She was bedridden. My mamu used to look after her in India. Ramazan came and she said, I'm going to fast. Mamu said, no, you have to eat a little bit every now and then. You're not unwell. You're not well. And she said, no, I've never missed a single fast throughout my life. I'm not going to miss now. And she kept the whole month. So even 90-year-olds, so if they are sick, they have had operation, and still they are keeping roza, where there's a will, there's a way. Allah makes it easy. So try your best to keep your roza. Then we move on. When you keep roza, you have to make intention, niyat. Okay? Every day, before Subh Sadiq, that I am fasting today. You might say, Alhamdulillah, we forget to make niyat. The answer is, التسحر في رمضان نية, as in Al-Fatawa Al-Hindiyya. When you wake up for sehri and you eat sehri, that's your niyat. You're all right. If you couldn't wake up for sehri and you're keeping roza fast without sehri, without eating anything in the early hours of the morning before Subh Sadiq, true dawn, and you woke up later after 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you haven't eaten anything, drunk anything, then you can still make niyat, Ramzan. Some people ask question, can I make one niyat at the beginning of Ramzan that I'm going to fast the whole Ramzan? According to Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik's research is allowed. So Shafi'iyya, Malikiyya can do that. But according to Imam Abu Hanifa's research, every fast, every roza is different. Because every day is different. So you can't make one collective niyat at the beginning of the month. You have to make niyat every day that I am fasting today. And remember, niyat is not on the tongue. Niyat is in the heart and mind. If you know what you're doing, that's niyat. So you know you're keeping roza, that's niyat. If you want to make verbal niyat, then on your timetable, niyat likhi hogi, wo bi sawmi ghadin nawaitu min shahri Ramadan. Tomorrow's roza, I am keeping Ramzan roza. You can verbally say that as well if you want, but it's not necessary. Moving on. Usul siyam. Remember one usul which Imam Bukhari mentioned from Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma. He said, Al-fitru mimma dakhal wa laysa mimma kharaj. Fast breaks from those things that enter into the cavity of the body, not from those things that come out. For example, you were fasting and you were injured and blood came out. That blood won't break your fast. You can put bandage on it and your fast continues. Because that's something that's coming out. Similarly, if you get cupped during Ramzan, cupping, hijama. Hijama in Ramzan, according to Hanafi fiqh, doesn't break roza. Salafis say it does break roza. Shafi'iyya also say that. They bring the hadith, Aftar al-Hajim wal-Mahjum. But we see on the other hadith that ihtajama an-Nabiyyu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa huwa sa'im. Once he himself had cupping whilst he was keeping roza. The hadith is in Mishkat Sharif. So, Aftar al-Hajim wal-Mahjum, according to Imam Abu Hanifa's research, means qaraba an yuftira. They are very close to breaking the roza. And there is detail in there. Anyway, the usul is that roza breaks from things that go inside, not from things that come out, except in 2 cases. First case is the case of semen, ejaculation, through either sexual intercourse or through any other deliberation, either masturbating or any other thing, caressing, kissing, hugging, and you ejaculate, the thick substance comes out, after which the organ is loosened, then that's called mani, it's called semen, and upon that ejaculation, your roza breaks. Do you understand? Just as sexual intercourse breaks roza, masturbation also breaks roza. Understand that carefully. Also, if you hug, kiss, and due to that hugging and kissing, you go beyond the limits, though you might not have intercourse, you might not penetrate, but you ejaculate semen, the roza breaks. In the case of intercourse, not only roza breaks and you have to give qaza, along with qaza, you'll have to give kafara as well. Kafara means you'll have to keep one qaza roza and 2 months continuous rozas. It will be tough, बहुत भारी पड़ जाएगा, मुसीबत खड़ी हो जाएगी, इसलिए ऐसा करना मत. तो इफ्तार जो है रोजा टूट जाता है. नंबर 1, मनी, though money exits, comes out of the body, but it breaks the roza. And secondly, vomiting deliberately with mouthful. Now, vomiting can either be deliberate or unintentional. Unintentional means you were sick, something happened, you were passing somewhere, there was really foul, dirty smell, stench, and you just, and you puked. That doesn't break roza. There's no intention in there. Whether it is mouthful or less than mouthful. But second case is where you thrust your fingers in your mouth, on your tongue and on your tonsils, and you deliberately take everything out. Or you smell some glue or sniff something deliberately, which brings up that urge, and you vomit. So when that vomit is mouthful, it breaks roza. Bil ijma', according to all aqwal. If it's less than mouthful, then Imam Muhammad ibn al-Hasan's research is that it still breaks the roza. But Qazi Abu Yusuf said, if it's only a little bit, then it doesn't break the roza. Do you understand these two things? So roza breaks when things go inside, not if things come out, except in 2 cases. One is ejaculating semen, and 2 is vomiting deliberately mouthful. These 2 break the roza. Now, things that go inside the body, they will either go through the mouth, or the nose, or the ears, or the genitals, or the anus. These are the ways of something going inside the body. So let's get the anatomy of the body. Mouth, you eat something, you drink something, your fast is broken. You chew a gum, the sweetness of the gum goes down the throat, your fast breaks. You go to the dentist for an appointment, and the dentist cleans your teeth, and some water goes down your throat, you're not able to gargle everything out, and it's gone down, your roza is broken. So avoid dentist appointments in Ramadan during fast. If there is some problem in your teeth, have your appointment before Ramadan starts or after Ramadan, but not during Ramadan, because if it cleans everything and something goes down, and normally it goes down, it's unavoidable, the roza will break. Tooth bleeding, you were just regularly brushing your teeth, brushing teeth with toothpaste while fasting is makruh, because there is risk of toothpaste going down, and there is also the taste, mint taste, which will go in your mouth. So you're not allowed to brush teeth during roza. You have to brush before Subh Sadiq Fajr, or after iftar, not during. During iftar, if you have to go to work and you don't want to go with a bad smell, then use miswak. Right? Do miswak with a with a stick, wooden stick. And you can rub that miswak on your tongue to remove the bacteria and the bad smell. If you don't have miswak, you can brush with your finger or scrub your fingers on the tongue and get all the bacteria and bad smell out, and gargle a few times and the smell will go. But don't use toothbrush with toothpaste. Maybe if there is no taste on the toothbrush, then you can just do the toothbrush, use it, but don't use toothpaste. Now, if you had bleeding from your teeth and you didn't realize, and the bleeding went down your throat, and then you spat and you saw all the blood in your hands and some of it went down the throat, it will break the fast because the blood has gone down your throat. Swallowing other person's saliva. You kissed your wife and you kissed her on her lips and you sucked her tongue and took her saliva in, your rosary is broken. Not if you swallow your own saliva, but if you swallow other person's saliva. Or if you took your own saliva out in your hands and then you swallowed it, your rosa will break. Because once it comes out, it's foreign body. If it's in your mouth, it's not foreign. You can swallow it. If you were doing wudu and you felt a bit thirsty, so during the gargara and cleaning the mouth, you took a little bit of water down, your rosa breaks. In hot countries, sometimes people do that, but that breaks the fast. So nothing should go down the throat. Anything that goes down the throat and into the cavity of the body will break your fast. Smoking. If you smoke cigarettes, your fast will break because the smoke is going inside down your throat. Hookah, shisha, vaping. If you vape during fast, the fast will break. Asthma pump. If you had an asthma attack and you took the pump, what's in the asthma pump? Is it just oxygen or there's some medicine in there as well? Follow? The medicine there as well. So the medicine goes down the throat, your fast will break. What do? Avoid things that trigger your asthma. You should know what triggers your asthma. So during the day, relax. Don't overwork. Don't go to the gym. You can go to the gym in the night, 20 rakat tarawih is gym itself. 20 rakat tarawih पढ़ लो, your gym exercise will be done. देखो 8 पढ़ के मत भागना है, 20 पढ़ना है. Pray full 20 rakats. That's the correct sunnah. From the time of Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, Ramzan 14 after Hijrah, until now over the whole 1400 centuries, 1400 years, throughout the whole Muslim world, there's been 20 rakats. That's the correct sunnah. Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnatil khulafair Rashidin al-Mahdiyyin addu alayha bin nawajiz. Sunnatul khulafair Rashidin, Sunnatul Umar, Sunnatul Uthman, Sunnatul Ali. And ijma' of A'immah Arba, Abu Hanifa, Shafi, Malik, Ahmad, no ikhtilaf in 20 rakats. So this is your gym. During the day, don't do any activities which might trigger your asthma. In winter it's a bit easy. Summer is a bit long. So people with asthma face difficulty in long summer fasts. Maybe they can try and fast, and if they do get that attack, then they can use the pump and make up for that rosa later on in the shorter days. But asthma pump, because of the medicine, will break the fast. Swallowing a stone or mud. also breaks the fast. Even though it's not beneficial. But why did you eat that mud? Why did you swallow that stone? If a fly goes down the throat, it won't break it. Sometimes in some countries where there's lots of flies, you are sleepy and you're yawning, and fly goes down. This has got nothing to do with you, it's not your mistake, it's no deliberation, it won't break the fast. This is a little bit about the anatomy of something that goes down the mouth. Nose. What goes up from the nose? Snuff. The Vicks snuff, when you have cold, you take it up, it goes right up to your brain. Remember, anything that goes down inside the stomach, internal, or anything that goes up to the brain will break the fast. The snuff will go up to the brain, it will break the fast. Deliberate intake of bukhur or agarbatti. When you light bukhur and you take that smoke deliberately, it'll break the fast. Agarbatti as well. Steam taking. If you fill a bucket with hot water, put some Vicks in there, because of cold, you put a towel and you inhale all that steam. The Vicks is going up in your brain, it'll break the fast. Any other medicine, you snuff up the nose, it'll break. If a lady is cooking in the kitchen and there's lots of smoke, then that smoke, if it goes up the nose, it's not deliberate. It's unavoidable. Especially in poor countries where the kitchen is small and there's lots of smoke, there's no shoot, ventilation, extractor fan. So all the smoke stays there. So for them, the rosa will not break because there's no deliberation in there. If you cover two things, mouth, nose, ears. If you put medicine in your ear, or if you put some olive oil because of some pain in your ear, your rosa will break. If you were having shower or you jumped in a swimming pool and water went inside your ears, your rosa will not break. Medicine will break it, water will not break. Unless you thrust water deliberately with a shower inside your ear, then that would break it. This is the Purana call hai. Mufti Rafi Usmani Sahib did a bit of research on that, and he said between the ear cavity and the brain, there is some membrane there which stops the oil from reaching the brain. And the doctor's research is that it doesn't let the oil rise to the brain, so rosa will not break. But then other fuqaha say sometimes we are scratching the ear and that membrane is affected, something is torn, and medicine, travels up to the brain without even you noticing. So ihtiyat is to avoid any medicine in the ear drops or anything during fasting. Eyes. Eye drops. If someone puts eye drops, will they break the fast? No. Because those drops will not go up to the brain. Nose snuffing will go up to the brain. Ears will reach the brain. But eye drops will not reach the brain nor the inside cavity, so rosa will not break. Genitals. If a woman goes for a smear test in Ramadan, the doctor inserts his hand inside the vagina. If the hand is dry, nothing has entered. Rosa will not break. But if the doctor pulls it out and then re-enters his hand, then that sticky discharge which was on the hand went back inside, so it will break the roza. If the doctor's hand was wet from the beginning, the gloves were wet, they will break the roza. Man puts some medicine inside his, inside his private part. It travels up, it'll break the roza. What if a person uses catheter? Some people have problem urinating, they have to use catheter. I'm sorry about the medicine I said, for man. For women, it breaks the fast. If they put a medicine up their vagina, private part. But for men, there is something in between the private part and the stomach. And that is masana, bladder. And the bladder prevents anything from going up. This is why if he uses catheter, the catheter will only go up to the masana, the bladder. It won't go inside the stomach. So, there are two opinions there. One opinion is that it doesn't break the fast. Others say it will break the fast because there is some sticky gel on the catheter. So if you can avoid catheter during the day, do so. Use it at night after Maghrib, Isha, before sleeping, in the morning, before Subh Sadiq. But if there's no other way out, you have to use it. You may use it and your roza will not break. Anus. If someone is given enema by a doctor and the enema travels up to his stomach, it breaks the fast. Because that is gone up to the inside cavity of the stomach, so it will break the roza. Piles. Someone had piles and medicine. Now, sometimes that medicine is just applied on the outer part. But other times it's inserted inside with the finger. So if it's just on the outer part, it will not break the roza. But if it is thrust inside and it travels up, then it will break the roza. So these are things, the anatomy of the body. You have to understand the rule, golden rule. Anything that goes inside the cavity of the body, the stomach, or lungs, like the smoke, or goes up the brain by snuffing, it will break the roza. What about injections? Do injections break the roza? Injection is given in the veins. And the medicine travels in the bloodstream. It does not go directly into the stomach. So, there was discussion about whether injections will break fast or not. Muftiyan-e-Kiram analyzed it through snake bite. Because when a snake bites a person, then the venom travels in the body. But Fuqaha said that snake bite does not break the fast. So they said similarly, injections will not break the fast either. Unless an injection was such that it goes directly in the stomach. मेरे ख्याल में इंसुलिन का जो इंजेक्शन है वो सीधा पेट में जाता है, because you have to take it on the stomach. So if the medicine goes direct in the stomach, the injection, then it will break the fast. But if you give it on the arm or on the other part of the body and it goes only into the veins, then that will not break the fast. Even if it travels and eventually reaches the stomach or the heart or somewhere, it will not break the fast because it's indirect, not direct. If someone had a stroke, he couldn't swallow food, and they make a hole over here, and they give food, liquid from here, that is going direct in the stomach, it will break the fast. So, this is masala of injection. Blood test. If you go for a blood test, you give blood, the blood came out, it did not go in. Your fast will not break. If you are diabetic, you prick your finger and you take blood out and test it, your fast will not break. Because it's come out, nothing's on inside the cavity of the body. Similarly, if you had a wet dream during the day when you were sleeping and you ejaculated in that sleep, which is called ihtilam, it will not break your fast. There's no deliberation in there. Shower, you can have a shower whilst you're fasting, even 5 times a day if you want. Oil, surma, you massage some oil on the head, it won't break your roza. Even though the tarawat, freshness will go in the brain, but it doesn't break the roza. Nothing going directly. You apply some surma, kuhl in your eyes, it doesn't break the roza. Ladies going to work, put some lipstick on. There is the risk of that lipstick taste going into the throat and being swallowed, so avoid it. But if you are careful, nothing goes down, the roza will not break. Tears or sweat going down the throat. You didn't realize you were crying and some tears went down your throat, they will not break the roza. These are some of the masail, and they are in this kitab, Gift for Ramzan. And there are many other masail in there. Let me just look in here. One masala is, if someone smokes cigarette in Ramzan, his fast will break. But will he have to keep only qaza, or will he have to do the 60-day kafara as well? You understand the question? Mufti Salman Mansoor Puri Sahab in Tuhfa Ramzan said only qaza, no kafara. But Mufti Razaul Haq Sahab in Fatawa Darul Uloom Zakaria writes that cigarette, huqqa is deemed to be beneficial. And anything that is intaken with the intention of benefit will result in qaza and kafara both. So if a person breaks his roza by smoking during the day, he will have to keep kafara. 2 months continuous roza. Don't smoke in Ramzan, otherwise bhari pad jayega. This is the opinion of our respected Mufti Shabir Sahab and Mufti Sufi Tahir Sahab as well. Local anesthetic. One is general anesthetic, the other is local anesthetic. General anesthetic is in the mouth, there's medicine in there, it will break the roza. Local anesthetic injection for operation somewhere on the knee or here and there, that will not break the roza. Oxygen. If someone has breathing problem and he has to carry that oxygen around and take that oxygen, this will not break the fast because there's mere oxygen, there's no medicine in there. Perfume. If someone applies perfume or sprays it and a little bit of taste goes on the saliva, it will not break the fast. Sometimes you feel it, galti se lag jata hai. You should not, take it if it's tasty, but you were spraying on yourself a little bit taste and it will not break the fast. Tasting food. If you just put it on your tongue and you spit it out, right? It's makruh to do that, but it won't break the fast. Now, if a lady is cooking food and her husband is very hot-headed, if there is a little bit of more salt or more mirch, then he goes berserk. So she has to taste the food, so it's just right. Then it would be allowed for her to just taste it and spit it out, don't swallow it. Similarly, if someone is working in a restaurant and the boss is really annoying and bad and hot-headed, so he might have to do that, then he can, if he's fasting, he just taste it and spit it out, don't swallow it. It's makruh to do that, but his roza will not break. Gingivitis. This is where the gums bleed constantly and sometimes blood goes down the throat. Will this break the fast? If you spit the blood out, it will not break the fast. However, if you swallow it and the blood is more than the saliva or equal to it, the fast will break. If blood was minimal, the fast will not break unless he felt the taste of the blood when he swallowed it. These masail is private parts, homosexuality, homosexual act breaks the fast, and the other parts, rest of the body, cupping, bloodletting, injections, acupuncture. Acupuncture does not break the fast. Endoscopy. If a camera was inserted into the back passage for an internal investigation, it would not break the fast if it was dry. However, they normally apply some gel to ease the insertion. In that case, the fast will break. Angiography. In angiography, a dye which shows up on X-ray is introduced into the bloodstream. The principle of fiqh support that it should not break the fast as nothing directly reaches the digestive system. However, if medication has to be used, it is better to avoid it during the fasting days unless it is extremely necessary to save one's life. Laparoscopy. An instrument inserted through a small incision to the abdomen to examine the abdominal cavity or to perform operation. Since it enters the abdomen and normally lubricant is applied to the instrument, the fast will break. Taking biopsies or samples from the liver or the other organs does not break the fast as long as this is not accompanied by administration of solutions or other substances. Maulana Khalid Saifullah Sahab analyzes with the mas'ala mentioned by Ibn Nujaym that if a person was to tie a piece of meat with a string and lower it down the throat and then pull it back out, this will not break the fast. So he analyzes this mas'ala with that. Gastroscopy. This does not break the fast, provided it is not accompanied by the administration of solutions or other substances. However, gastroscopy always needs a local anesthetic spray for the back of the throat, and if this is swallowed, which is in nearly all cases, then the fast will be broken. Endoscopy. This could be via mouth, which is called gastroscopy, or via the anus, which is called colonoscopy, or sigmoidoscopy. It would normally break the fast. Nicotine patches. If a smoker uses nicotine patches, the fast will not break. This is clear because they are applied to the skin, maybe on the shoulder or upper arm, and there is no direct penetration to the stomach or the brain. Note, consult a Muslim physician before taking any of the above tests while fasting. If advice given is that the test is absolutely necessary, then it should take precedence over the fast. If they are not necessary, delay them until after Ramadan. And if it is done, make up for it qaza later on. Then we explain what is kafara. What does a woman do if a period starts in Ramadan? And what does she do if a period ends in Ramadan? This is how these masail come to a close. You can read them in this book, and we have it for sale out there at discount price for today. उसको कितने में देंगे भाई उस्मान? 3 pounds. वैसे तो ये महंगी है, इतनी बड़ी बुक है, लेकिन we'll give you it for 3 pounds only. देखो साहब, 150 सफ़े की किताब है, 3 pound में है सिर्फ आपके लिए. ले जाओगे इंशाल्लाह. Every home should have it. You know, Maulana Salim Dhoraj Sahab, I sent him a few copies. And Maulana Salim Sahab said, every Ramzan I keep your book on my desk near me. If someone asks me a masla, I look into it and tell them this is written in gift for Ramzan. तो ये अच्छा है ना, पढ़ो इसको. और ये मैंने लिया है मुफ्ती सलमान मंसूरपुरी से और दूसरी चंद जगहों से. Closing off now, mustahabbat of roza and makruhat of roza. In roza, it is mustahab to take suhoor and to have it late at night. Suhoor means the pre-dawn meal. Maybe at the moment it's 6 o'clock, so maybe 5 o'clock, half 5, you eat something, drink something, so you can have enough energy throughout the day. This is mustahab. To keep busy during the day in tilawat, zikr, durood sharif, istighfar, reading Quran sharif and neek amal is mustahab. Number 3, to spend with generosity, especially upon one's own relatives and upon the orphans and the poor and the needy around the world. Number 4, to perform tahajjud, ishraq, chash, nawafil is mustahab. Salatul Tasbih if possible, when possible. Number 5, to perform i'tikaf in the last ashara, which is sunnah. Number 6, to keep busy in du'as as throughout the day and especially before iftar in the evening, before maghrib, spend a few minutes, 15-20 minutes in du'as before iftar. 7, to do iftar quickly. 8, to do iftar with dates and keep the dates in odd numbers, like eat 3 dates or 5 dates or 7 dates. This is also mustahab. 9, to odd numbers. 10, to read masnoon dua of iftar. Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa alayka tawakkaltu wa ala rizqika aftartu sam'at fataqabbal minni. Also, ya wasi'al fadli ighfirli. Allahumma inni as'aluka bi rahmatika allati wasi'at kulla shay'in an taghfir li. ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. And number 11, roza during journey when there is no harm is also mustahab. When you're traveling but there's no harm, then keep roza. It's mustahab to keep it even if you're traveling. What is makruh in roza? Finishing off now. Makruhat-e roza are gathering saliva in the mouth and then swallowing it. Though it will not break the fast, but to do so is makruh. That you gather your saliva in your mouth, lots of it, and then you swallow it. 2, tasting salt in food without genuine reason is makruh. Roza will not break, but it's makruh to do that. If there is genuine reason, like I explained, then you can face it and spit it out. 3, using toothpaste or manjan is makruh. 4, applying lipstick by women when there is risk of it going down the throat is makruh. 5, caressing the wife when there is risk of the fast being broken. Kissing, hugging when there is risk of it being broken is makruh. Hard labor work which weakens the body and results in breaking the roza because of weakness is also makruh. Avoid hard labor work. This is why those who are boss, of company, they should make their work easy for the Muslim workers. 7, acts of disobedience while fasting. Gunah ke kaam. Any sin during fasting is grave, more graver, more bad, is makruh. Like ghibat, joot, all these gunas. Number 8, exaggerating in gargling. When you gargle your mouth, just do it lightly when your face is down. Not like when you do a normal day's mouth. Don't gargle your mouth heavily because there will be risk of water going down and your roza being broken. So gargle lightly during Ramadan. 9, to delay suhoor until doubtful time is also makruh. कि शक होने लगे कि रोजा सही है या नहीं, makruh है. 10, women keeping nafil fast without husband's permission is also makruh. But excuses for which you can break your roza. Number 1, life-threatening illness or getting into a severe accident and being in need of treatment and medicine is allowed. The roza can be broken and you can make up for that roza later on. 2, a pregnant woman is fasting but she gets so weak, she fears for her life or the life of the child, she can break the roza, make up for it later on. 3, a person gets so thirsty that he is unable to bear it and he is at risk of death. Then to avoid the death, he can drink something to save his life. 4, a nursing mother runs dry of milk and fears for the baby or for her own life, then she is allowed to break the roza. These are 4 cases. These are some brief masail of roza. To tell you the truth, these mustahabbat and makruhat, I think I forgot to add them in that kitab. So Glasgow ki barakat se yaad aa gaya. So inshallah in next edition, we will add them in there as well. Okay? Then this book has other masail. Taraweeh, zakat, i'tikaf, and Laylatul Qadr, and Sadaqatul Fitr masail. There's a whole risala of zakat by Mufti Wahajuddin Saab. You take this kitab with you, read it, inshallah it'll be beneficial. Theek hai bhai, sorry for taking your time. May Allah accept our sitting here. May Allah give us understanding of our deen and the ability to practice. Theek hai bhai, any questions? Everything good? You understood everything? Samajh mein aa gaya sab? Ji hai sahab.
We have discussed about the eye drops, this and that, but about the blood infusion.
Blood infusion. Blood देते हैं.
Some blood-related things, iron, infusion, or some
Ah,
blood cells or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to the
Inside, yeah. But it's not going directly inside the stomach, so it doesn't break the roza. Blood infusion doesn't break the roza.
Sometimes they include some medicine as well.
Yeah, but still it's not going direct inside the stomach or the brain. Inside, it's going indirect, right? Same is the case for kidney के लिए क्या करते हैं जो dialysis, because dialysis में the blood is changed, right? So it doesn't break the roza. If after dialysis you get hungry and you eat banana, then the banana will break the fast, but dialysis itself will not break it, because there's nothing going inside. Though these drips hai, blood transfusion hai, it should be avoided in roza because it still gives strength and energy to the body. And the aim of roza is to feel a little bit roza, right? So if you're energized, then you don't feel anything. So if you can avoid it, but it will not break the roza if you had it. Okay? Any other question?
Does intention have to be verbal?
Yeah, I explained in the beginning that intention of the roza does not have to be verbal. It is in heart and mind. If you know what you're doing, then that's intention. Even for namaz, if you stand on that stuff, then you should, think carefully, pause for 10 seconds. Which namaz is it? Is it Maghrib or is it Isha? And you have to make niyat. I am praying Maghrib namaz 3 rakats. Sometimes you do get confused, right? You start and Maghrib ki Isha hai. So your niyat is not there. Your salat is not counted. Before you make niyat and you say Allahu Akbar, you should know which namaz it is. Similarly, in roza, you should know that you're keeping roza today. That's niyat. So niyat verbal is not important, I would say, is not necessary, is not obligatory, but it will benefit you if you make that niyat.